Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I want to show you how to play Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen in a very simple way. We're going to be using the four most common chords ever, G, E minor, C, D. You can use those to play like tons of songs, thousands of songs. I've made lessons about that or like a video about it if you want to check that out. And then we're going to add one other chord shape that's just like we take our D chord and we just move it over a little bit. So, this is really good, especially if you have learned like Country Roads and some of the other classics, just to kind of build on that one step. Really quick before we get started, if you haven't grabbed your copy of my free ebook, I'll put a link to that in the corner. It's free for all my subscribers, goes over all the fundamentals of guitar, and is a really good blueprint for, especially the initial phases. I also have a course, Learn Guitar Once and For All, which really holds your hand through all that. We'll talk more about that later. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel if you like learning guitar with me. I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, for this one, we're in the key of G. So we start off on a G chord, and then we switch to E minor. And when we switch from G to E minor, we could just move our middle finger and do it like that. That's like a super easy way to play it. Or we can do our regular G to E minor, totally up to you. And then from there we go C and D. So we're on an E minor chord. We pivot off our middle finger into a C chord. And then going to D, I'm going to take my middle and ring, move them all the way to the edge of the fretboard, and do it systematically like that. That way I can really build up my muscle memory. If you're already good with these chord shapes, you can ignore it. But if you're having trouble making the switches, we do it that way. We start on G, we pivot off our index into E minor, pivot off our middle into C, and then we move to the edge and make our D chord. And if that's a bit much, because a lot of people, the C chord's tricky. Some people don't learn it for months into their journey. We can leave these two fingers down, our ring and pinky. That's our G chord. It's the normal G chord. But for E minor, like I already said, we just move our middle finger. And for C, we're just gonna leave down those other two fingers, our ring and pinky. We make the C chord. It looks a lot like the G chord, except our fingers are one string lower, our index and middle. And then for D, we move over again. My index is on the G string, and I remove my middle finger, and I get a pretty simple version of D. But that's up to you, what level you're at. If you want to learn more about what I would call the two-finger trick, where we leave those two fingers down, I have a lesson where we go over that, and we go over tons of songs and all sorts of stuff. I'll put a link in the corner. Now, as far as this tune is concerned, we have to put those chords into a particular order to make the song. So we'll start off with the verse, and it opens up pretty straightforward, right? We're going to play our G chord for 2 downstrokes, 1, 2, and then E minor for 2 downstrokes. That David played and it pleased the Lord. And then here we go to C and D, G, D, 2 downstrokes each. But you don't really care for music, do you? And when we switch from G to D, we can leave our ring finger down and we can pivot. And now here it's going to be a little bit different. We play G for 2 downstrokes. C and D are 1 downstroke each. And then from here on out, 2 downstrokes apiece. Goes like this, the 4th, the 5th, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king. And here we have a different chord shape. We're going to take our D chord and move it to the left or towards the tuning heads by 1 fret, and then we're going to move it up, and then we're going to put our pinky on the 2nd fret of the thinnest string. That gives us D sharp diminished, but you can just think of it, you just take your D chord and you move over a couple times. We do that 2 times. Hallelujah, 2, 1, 2. So that's our verse, and that's the trickiest part of the whole song. The chorus is actually quite short. We'll go over that in a second. And if you're still working on your chord shapes, it's a really good exercise to go through it just like that, downstrokes only, 2, 1, 2, even counting out loud. You could sing if you're ready. But you don't really care for music, this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. And once you're at that point, singing or not, doesn't really matter, we can add some strumming to it. And the strumming is super simple. It's just, as far as the strokes are concerned, it's just downstrokes. But we got to count it a certain way to make it feel like the song. We got to go 1 and 2 and. So the numbers, I'm doing big full downstrokes. And then for and, I'm just doing little downstrokes that kind of focus on the thicker strings. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and we're still counting the same way. We're still going 1, 2 on each chord. We're just filling in the spaces. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and. So I recommend just trying that a whole bunch on the chord shapes, counting out loud. 1 and 2 and you can go slow. 1 and 2 and go at your own pace. And then when you're ready, we would put that together with the chords. I'm going to actually play through the chorus as well. So let's just go over that. Here's the chords for the chorus. C 2 times, E minor 2 times, C 2 times, and then G, D, G, D. Really straightforward. The chorus is actually the easiest part of the song. We do our strumming pattern 1 time per chord shape. The only time it's different is when we do that. It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth. Remember how we only played 1 downstroke on C and then 1 downstroke on D? Well, now we're just going to go 1 and 2 and. So we play C on beat 1, D on beat 2, but the pattern stays the same. That's really all there is to it. If you want to learn this song in like a more complex way, I do have lessons like fingerstyle and all sorts of cool stuff you can do with it. This is like the simple version. Let's just give it a shot. You know, I'm going to play through it with my metronome. I'm at 54 beats per minute. So we count 1 and 2 and every click is a number. 1 and 2 and here we go. Now I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from your lips she drew a hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And as you probably know, this song is super duper long, and you know, you just do what I just did like 5-6 more times and that'll be the entire tune. Now, when it comes to getting everything together, you know, and making it sound like the song, remember to check out my free ebook because it has a ton of tips, a ton of stuff that's going to help you. I also have a course, Learn Guitar Once and For All, which is designed for not only absolute beginners, but people who want to become confident strummers, you know, people who just want to kind of feel the rhythm naturally and just be able to look up a tune, look up the chords for it, and just play it and kind of figure it out. I'll put a link down below for that. It also includes access to my community, so you'll get direct access to me. You can ask me questions and stuff. Some people like to post videos of themselves playing, and I can critique it. You know, and you can also talk to other people who are taking the course, and, you know, people build friendships, and it's a really cool thing, you know, so you can be a part of that. Just check out the link down below. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching the lesson to this point. If you've not yet subscribed, now's your chance. That way you'll get all the latest lessons. You can hit the bell icon, like the video, leave a comment, say hi. You know, I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.